Awesome guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do another PMR446 radio review, and I have right here in a white package I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Radioddity R2, kind of a funny name, and as you can see it's the PMR446. So in case you're in the US, you should probably be on the lookout for the GMRS or FMRS, because PMR446 is especially common in Europe, but it's my understanding that the manufacturers of these radios usually produce similar ones with frequencies programmed or an output power programmed specifically also for the States. So you want to be a little bit aware of when you're ordering stuff online. Is this on the right frequency with the right output power, so that you don't run in potential legal troubles somewhere down the road by transmitting on the wrong frequencies. But without further ado, as you can see, right now we're in the introductory part. You can use at any point in time the navigation to you always see where you are. There are the time marks in the video description below where you can click on and jump to, let's say, the summary and conclusion part or the range test part right away. But right now, I'm gonna do a quick unboxing of these two radios right here and show you a few close-up shots. But I also noticed it says Scrambler. So I think I'm also gonna make a programming tutorial. Usually some of the radios that you can buy, you can program them with a USB programming cable and switch on a Scrambler. But like always, you wanna be aware of your local laws and regulations, because some countries may not allow you to use the Scrambler. But without further ado, guys, let's jump into the unboxing and I'm going to show you a few close-up shots. Awesome you're here. Let's get started. Awesome guys, then let's have a closer look at the Radioddity R2 PMR radios. As you can see, they come in this nice white package, and they have, as opposed to other radios, more accessories. I had a bunch of other radio reviews on my channel where the radios don't come with a charging station, they don't come with a rechargeable battery, and the Radioddity have both. As you can see here, they have even headsets included. So that's one viewer once asked me, okay, I want to do this soft air kind of stuff, and for that he wanted to have radios where you could connect the headset. Definitely to those you can connect a headset or a speaker, and not sure about how exactly the qualities of those. Probably that's very basic and maybe not the perfect one for playing soft air. But in any case, my focus always is, does it have a charging station and does it come with the batteries? Because as you can imagine, it's kind of handy if at the end of the day, if you're planning to use these radios regularly, if at the end of the day you can just put these in a charging station, charge them up, and the next morning they are ready to go. So keep this in mind. It might be worth considering. And yeah, some of the other radios that I reviewed, they didn't even have a battery included. So you had to use these one-time batteries or buy something separate. I think usually it's the AAA or the AA kind of batteries. So let's quickly put in the battery pack on these PMR446 radios. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the States, maybe you can find a similar variant for GMRS, FMRS. Sometimes the output power is just regulated by the software. So right now these should transmit at 0.5 watts. But let's say you connect, instead of the speaker headphones right here, you use one of these USB programming cables, which I can also show you a tutorial about on my channel. Then usually you can program different frequencies or change the output power to a higher output power. Obviously, you want to always be aware of your local laws and regulations. And this antenna is fixed. Some viewers have commented that apparently you can remove them. You see this small hole there, you can probably remove them somehow, but at least in the case of Europe, if you want to be compliant with this PMR446 standard, I think the standard mandates that the antenna is fixed somehow. even if you can remove it by unscrewing it there in some way. In any case, that's the first impression of these radios. We're going to go out in a second and do the range test and see how the mic performs, how sensitive that is, and how the sound quality of the built-in speaker is. What I like about this style of radio is that when you turn them on, as you can see here, it has like these physical dials. A lot of these other budget radios, you just have some knobs that you have to push, or you have to go into a menu to change the channel. Personally, I'm a fan of these dials, these good old school dials. That works just very reliably and it's very intuitive. And as you can see, you change the channel, it also announces it. Nice big push to talk button, and let me quickly give you a close-up shot of the charging station as well. As you can see, it's a USB charging station, so you will need some kind of USB adapter, a power supply, charger, but otherwise this seems to work great. You can just put this in here and then charge it up. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's quickly charge those radios up and then go out for a range test. Usually you should take some time to charge them up, so don't just take them out of the box and start using them right away. That might not be so good for the battery. So give them a first charge up, maybe charge them overnight, and then you're ready to go. So that's what we're going to do right now. Charge them up and go to the range test. So guys, I took out two USB power supplies, one from my iPad and one from the navigation system, the car navigation system. So let's just plug this right in. Obviously you can use almost all USB chargers that you have lying around, and then we should be ready to go. It's a little bit tricky to do this with one hand. Switch on the power and you see the charging indicators show up, and I'm just gonna let this load up for quite some time so that I have a really nice full charge, the batteries get conditioned, and then we can go out and do the range test, which will be instant for you. So awesome guys, thanks for tuning in. So let's jump to part 3, the range test. Let's go.
Range test of the Radioddity R2 radio with distance point number 1 and 420 feet. Should be really nice, loud, crisp and clear sound signal. So let's walk a little further. Range test of the Radioddity PMR radio. Test point number 2 with 790 feet of distance. Should be still a very nice and crisp sound quality. Test point number 2 with 790 feet of the Radioddity R2. So range test with test point number 3, about 1,250 feet of distance. Test point number 3 with 1,250 feet of distance of the Radioddity PMR radio. And guys, it's a little bit breezy and windy today, so let's see how the microphone handles the occasional wind noise. That's going to be interesting to see. Test point number 3 with 1,250 feet of distance. Range test of the Radioddity PMR radio. Test point number 4 with 1,540 feet. Test point number 4 with 1,540 feet. Not that far yet, so shouldn't be no problem at all. Test point number 4 with 1,540 feet. Range test of the Radioddity radio with test point number 5 and 2,000 feet of distance. Test point number 5 with 2,000 feet of distance. Test point number 5. Range test with test point number 6, about 2,300 feet of distance. 2,300 feet of distance. You are listening to the Radioddity R2 PMR radio with test point number 6, 2,300 feet. Range test of the Radioddity. Test point number 7 with approximately half a mile of distance. 2,600 feet and still some breezy winds. Test point number 7, half a mile. So guys, test point number 8. about 3,200 feet. Test point number 8, about 3,200 feet. Guys, I always have to calculate that from kilometers into feet or miles. A little bit of a stretch for a European. Test point number 8 of the Radioddity R2 with 3,200 feet. Range test of the Radioddity R2. Test point number 9 with about 3/4 of a mile, and it's got really windy outside, so I'm not sure how the microphone is going to handle that. Test point number 9 with 0.75 or 3/4 of a mile. Test point number 9. Range test, test point number 10, and I already reached almost a mile or 4,900 feet. Guys, I'm going to go a little bit further, so I want to get over a mile, but usually the quality starts to deteriorate with these PMR radios eventually, and it's still very windy, but we have some sunshine out here. Test point number 10, almost a mile.
Awesome, guys. This concludes the range test of the Radioddity R2 PMR radio, and as you have seen, unfortunately the camera shut off when I was about to reach test point number 11 with 1.15 miles. This is always like a restriction. The camera shuts off after 30 minutes, so I should probably be able to walk a little bit faster, but guys, it was the second review that day, so I took it a little bit easy and I was just a few minutes short. But in any case, I'm pretty sure the radio would have reached that range as well. I mean, what I particularly like about the Radioddity R2 is not only that they came with a bunch of accessories like headsets and these USB docking stations for charging, but I actually think the speaker quality was pretty good, better than some other radios. I really like the quality of the sound, and obviously I'm a big fan of these control dials, where you can just conveniently turn the dial to change the settings. So I like that really a lot about these Radioddity R2 radios. Guys, let me quickly check what else I wrote down. I think when I reached exactly 3/4 of a mile, the quality started to deteriorate somewhat. And as always, before I forget, the range test, always take these range tests with a grain of salt, because these radios have a low output power of 0.5 watts. That's the restriction of PMR446. So you can basically always remember that these PMR radios are for the close environment. I always like to say in and around the house. So don't expect to get huge miles and miles after range. That's not what they're designed for. It's more like a close range communication. However, if you don't have a lot of obstructions like concrete buildings or stuff like that, you can get a really nice range still out of them, even with the low output power. And yeah, because viewers sometimes ask me that, in my case, right now we have the beginning of the year, so the trees are not green yet, and there are only a few houses, so I don't have that many obstructions in the path where the signal travels. So that's why I usually get over a mile of range. I probably could get a lot more if I climb on some mountain or something that's nearby, but I just tested in my environment, like how I would use the radios, and for me that gives me a good reference, which I encourage you can do that as well. Guys, have fun with your new radios. Make sure to check out my channel page in the ham radio or radio section. I have a lot of other useful reviews of Motorola radios and so on. So if you want, you can do a little bit of a comparison. I see you in the next video, and as a subscriber on my channel. Awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for subscribing. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Now, because you just watched a review of the black Radioddity R2 PMR radios, you might also be interested in comparing them against these red Floreon. And like I mentioned throughout the video, if you're in the US, please look for the FRS or GMRS version of those, because radios are always specific to your country. Guys, I'm amazed about how many people have already subscribed to my channel because of the useful product reviews that I provide here. You can subscribe right now as well. I see you in the next video, and maybe even one of my online courses. Take care.